The cell phone video captured the moment of the shooting. It happened during a protest outside Ferguson police headquarters.
The gunfire sparked a dramatic police response. The 2 wounded officers are in serious condition this morning.
There is blood once again spilled on the streets of Ferguson, Missouri. This time it's that of police officers, cops who don't even work for the local department. And the boiling point has been reached by citizens of every color. Let's welcome back to MidPoint the former mayor of Ferguson, now running for city council and steadfastly resolves to save his town. Brian Fletcher joins us. Brian, it's good to see you again.
Nice to see you, Ed. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Where were you, and what was that first thought that flashed through your mind when you heard that 2 cops had been shot?
Just utter tragedy. We don't know when we're going to wake up from this nightmare over the last several months. My daughter was out on the porch. It was a warm spring day at midnight, and they heard 2 gunshots, and then looked at each other and said, "Was that gunshots?" And they went to Twitter, and Twitter exploded. And immediately I got a phone call. It was indicated an officer had been shot in the head, and they didn't know where the other officer had been shot or which department the officers were from.
We realize, of course, that this could have been anybody. This could have been somebody from thousands of miles away who could have been part of this. It may not have been anybody actually from the area. The investigation continues. But there are those right now who, quite frankly, I've talked to other people saying that the people in and around Ferguson are tired. They believe that this is a constant edge to the rhetoric from the Obama administration, from the Department of Justice, from people always looking for blame and pointing at the people in Ferguson. And they say if this was handled better, we might be able to heal, but it's not allowing us to heal at this point. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree with that totally. It's been approximately a week since the Department of Justice released their findings on our police department. There's been immediate action by the city, the mayor. Some people have voluntarily left in hopes of making it better for the residents here, even though they felt that they had no guilt upon their hands. We need some normalcy brought to our wonderful city. It is mainly outside agitators that are creating these problems. And we need the police department to be able to handle the protesters. Many say they're peaceful, but they're giving cover to those that are wanting to do harm to our city and to our police departments.
Brian, what's your reaction when you think of the fact that the city manager and the police chief, both of whom I believe you worked with as you were mayor. Now, did you appoint these 2 gentlemen? Were you there when they took their jobs?
The city council only hires 2 individuals, and the city manager and our city clerk. I was mayor when John Shaw was hired. He was very young and energetic. He had Ferguson ties. He's done a great job for the city. Many of the things in the Department of Justice report he would have no knowledge of. There was not proper time given to do a proper investigation. It's amazing they'll take us and they'll monitor the city for 5 years, but they took approximately 3 or 4 months to do an investigation. They told us they rode along with their police department for observation, but they never released the results of the observation as far as how ticketing was handled when the Department of Justice were with the officers riding along. No information was given as a result of what percentage of the tickets were issued to actual Ferguson residents. As a result, the surrounding communities' tickets might have been issued to people that were driving through our city. Just a lot of information that was left out of the report. It looked very biased, and it looked like it was trying to achieve a result that they wanted to achieve.
But are you ashamed of the fact that the people that you worked with are the ones who are being called part of the problem here and turned, according to the DOJ, the Ferguson Police Department into basically a, we'll go ahead and use the public as our personal little bank account idea?
Well, you know, the police department only received about 15% of their revenue from ticketing. The state law allows 30%. A study was done by the local media. We were nowhere near the amount of revenue collected by tickets as many municipalities surrounding us. Again, I think this stemmed from the shooting of Michael Brown. He was exonerated, but you don't hear that much. There's been no apologies to Officer Wilson and his family for what's happened to him. His career has gone, and now the career of our police chief and our city manager have changed drastically.
All right, Brian, please stand by. We're going to take a break, come back on the other side, joined by the former LAPD sergeant who understands what happens in places like Ferguson. Cheryl Dorsey will join us when MidPoint continues.